Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, June 2022. Mercury is turning direct in your seventh house, guys. So if there was some complications around relationships and business partnerships with clients, with contracts, with agreements, with some project you're working on with another person, and overall in relationships, those start improving after the first week of June. Because the first week when Mercury is turning direct is still square Saturn, so there's some final effort to put there, some final delay to overcome an obstacle, some final clarifications. But then Mercury moves away from the square with Saturn, and you start feeling way better improvement in your relationships overall with others, becoming more agreeable, more friendly, nicer people around you. Even if you remove some relationships or contacts from your life, you kind of start seeing the positive results. Or if you have to rework something, set new boundaries, new rules, you're going to start seeing after the first week of June the good results of that effort. Or if it was for some contract, it starts moving forward and giving good results. And Venus is, of course, in your seventh house as well till June 23rd. So it definitely improves after the first week your relationships in some way. And then at some point, Venus will make conjunction with Rahu in the North Node in the seventh house, which are very excitable planets. So some new people can enter your life, even romantic interests that are excitable. They might be foreign or very different than you, or just some new person, doesn't have to be romantic, who kind of gives you a very different vibe, very different perspective, opens up some horizon, or you might be some very unusual thing that you're both interested about that connects you. But as well, Venus is making the final aspect between June the 11th and 19th. First, those exciting things in relationships that happen, some new developments, even some shocking things that can happen, that can surprise you in regards to a partner or business partner or another person you're in contract with, or your marriage partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, something new that they do, something that surprises you. But then Venus squares Saturn, so there is some kind of a culling again of false hopes or unrealistic ideas, or some kind of disappointment that can be involved in this new energy that is coming, in this new surprising developments there with relationships and others, or some extra, or sometimes it can be like a new project that you do with another that appears, that has some obstacle to be overcome. But Venus starts doing a lot of nicer aspects after that, so it improves. Of course, so Mercury turns direct in your seventh house. At the same time, at the beginning of June, Saturn turns retrograde in your fourth house. And that's not the first time it's done it. Saturn turns retrograde for 5 months, once every year. And Saturn has been in your fourth house twice already, 2020 and 2021. So Saturn will go retrograde in your fourth house, which means things connected to home, to family, can turn another direction. There can be some extra responsibilities connected to parenthood, to family, towards parents, for caring, taking care of another, or something with property, some complications, property, land, place of living that you have to work on over the next 5 months. Sometimes people do restructuring of their home, moving, refurbishing around such month. It might be slow going, but it will be meticulous, it will be masterful, and the final result will be fantastic as long as you have the patience. Because Saturn retrograde in your fourth house, if you're planning to do renovations for a couple of months, it will take 4 or 5 months. But if you're trying to relocate or move somewhere, you can double down on the efforts, but again, it can feel more laborious, this process, but the final result can be quite exquisite because Saturn is in its own sign. What it can be hard on is some complications in the family. What can be hard is like you working through some family karma, or working through some family responsibilities, or working through some health problems with family members, elderly, for example. On another level, more positive, you can be revisiting an old place and going back to live somewhere you've been before over the next 5 months. That's another possibility it can work out on. But because it's Saturn, it's always kind of, there is some fear involved, there is always some doubt. Or another way it can play out is fourth house is the karma of the family. So you might be revisiting and becoming powerfully aware, because fifth, a retrograde planet is more introspective, becomes aware of certain patterns that when planet moves direct, we're not aware of. So you can become aware of certain family repeating patterns, and you can work on them slowly. The results will not be immediate. Saturn is a slow karmic cleaner, karmic burn that is on a low burner. Saturn is the planet of the cleaner, so it might be clearing, even subconsciously for you, certain issues from the past, from your early childhood, from your early family, or family from ancestors, like a repeating pattern of, I don't know, of divorce, or repeating pattern of poverty, or something that you become aware of. Maybe work with a psychologist to release, to detach from. That's the ultimate vibration of Saturn, detachment and acceptance, and letting go of course. But don't expect immediate results. The results will come more obvious when Saturn turns direct, or even moves out of your fourth house, where you feel released from certain family patterns. Some of you might even reevaluate family relationships and put more boundaries with parents or with other family members, and kind of for protection, sometimes even for some kind of isolation. Sometimes it indicates some changes in place of living, such matters that will be important for you in the next 5 months, and changes, circumstances of matters regarding buying, selling property, change in a different direction, or relocating. um, Mercury moves into Gemini on the 13th, into your ninth house, so very positive energy. And Venus joins it on June the 23rd. So, as I said, fantastic time to travel to foreign places, for higher education. I think we mentioned all of that. Yeah. Sorry, not your ninth house. What am I talking about? Sorry, Scorpios. This is this is your seventh house. I was looking at Libra. So, sorry, your eighth house. So, Mercury moves into your eighth house on June the 13th. And Venus will move on June the 23rd. So there'll be a lot of eighth house activity going on from the middle of the month and into the middle of June probably. So, but because it's good planets and good aspects, you can feel like some speeding up or focus that you resolve well with taxes, with insurances, with inheritances, money coming to you from others, or some investments that are paying off, or some new investments that you do that are kind of positive in mutual finances, resources, or whatever. That your partner's finances and resources can improve, that you receive more from others, whether it's your clients or help from others and support. Ask and you shall receive in the second part of the month. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I think that's an overall theme for you this whole year, Scorpios, because the North Node is in your seventh house. And that's a good thing to, to reach out, others to help you out. Rahu there, the North Node is the active ingredient, while the passive ingredient, the South Node, is in your sign the whole year. So you might feel like less energy, less motivated, but others can push you and others can excite you. And as I said, with Rahu in the seventh house, people can often meet someone new that turns their life around, that is very exciting, very excitable. And as I said, Venus will be conjunct Uranus and the North Node, triggering it in its own sign around the middle of the month. For some of you, this can be some new person that comes that's very exciting, that carries a lot of sexual energy around that. Why am I saying sexual energy? Because Rahu is sexual, and Uranus is Eros as well, the erotic power, and it might be a bit disruptive as well. It wants to disrupt the old if new people appear in your life, and not necessarily you have sex with them. It's not necessarily erotic partners as well, but someone that sparkles you and brings new exciting energy into you. So there we go. Thank you so much. And of course, you have to approach those new people with a bit of cautiousness. If you meet new people around the 11th and 19th, or this month, while Venus is with the North Node and Uranus, the energies of newness in your seventh house of relationships. If you meet someone else, because Venus is also squaring Saturn, You have to get excited for the new things they bring, but also have the benefit of the doubt a little bit, and not go fully blindly. You know, you have to check things up a little bit with Saturn. So thank you so much, and I will see you next month.